Let's talk a little bit of sport. Caitlyn Clark is the new star of the WNBA, but some teams have been going directly after her, physically going after her. How do you feel about the way she's being treated?
What a bunch of spoiled, jealous brats. All I want to hear from them is thank you. That's it. That's all they should be saying to Caitlyn Clark. Thank you so much for calling attention to our sport that literally no one cares about. Nobody. No one cares about women's basketball. They don't care about it at the college level. They don't care about the WNBA. The only reason they're watching it now is because of that one woman who apparently, I'm not a sports person, but I'm told is the Michael Jordan of women's basketball. Something exciting and electric and totally worth watching and probably a once in a lifetime kind of player. Who wouldn't go to see Michael Jordan? Even I don't like sports at all. I barely understand the difference between hockey and lacrosse. But when I was living in Chicago back in 1995, Michael Jordan was playing with that dream team, Chicago Bulls team with Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen. And even I went to see that game, those games, because it was the GOAT. And by the way, he's still the GOAT. I know enough to know LeBron James is not it. So here comes the female GOAT. And these women are going from having 3,000 people in their arenas to 20,000, like that. If you look at the WNBA games just this past weekend, where all these women were playing, and then Caitlyn Clark was playing for her team, those were the numbers: 3,000, 4,000, 7,000 at best. Caitlyn Clark, 17,000, almost 20,000. What kind of a dumbass player would have any feeling other than, yes, this is awesome in response to that? But they're so envious of her because she's so good and so annoyed by the fact that she's white, because we're seeing this in magazine after magazine, that they treat her like she's persona non grata, like she's disgusting and unwanted. Great. You know what? I hope you go back to your loser ratings and your loser attendance. God forbid anything happens to this young woman, because I'm worried about her safety now. Like she's like the prisoner who used to be a cop, who's like in danger around every turn. Like they keep coming for her. This hit she took at the WNBA game last weekend was not in the course of play. No one was trying to stop the ball or shoot the ball. They weren't near the ball. This girl just assaulted her. And this girl's had two other issues with teams and inappropriate behavior to where she's reportedly been kicked off of two other WNBA teams. So this is an ongoing problem. And people like Sunny Hostin, who's upset about her white privilege and her pretty privilege. Sunny Hostin's out there openly admitting to how much cosmetic work she's had done. So just take a seat on your pretty privilege. Okay. It's not just Sunny. There's sports writers, Jamel Hill. She's met. And one other point, okay, because this one's just so annoying. One other point. Why is it a problem that the majority of WNBA players are black and Caitlyn Clark, who's got all this attention, is white? When Serena Williams came into tennis, which had traditionally been an all-white sport, I mean, it was white as a daisy, and then in come these amazing sisters, was the world saying, this is the face of a white person's sport? Yeah, I'm sure there were a couple of races who were saying that. But the community, the tennis community, welcomed them with open arms. And while they tried to claim this was racist and this was racist, bull, they became the biggest stars in America. They got the biggest endorsement deals. They're multi-millionaires because of this country. They weren't given the middle finger. So I would like people to start appreciating this woman's talent and stop talking about the melanin in her skin. It's racist.
And the Washington Post, because democracy dies in darkness, is always a focus for us. I don't read it, but still. They've hired a whole bunch of people, and sadly they were male. So the sky has fallen in about their new leadership team.
Oh, my God. I mean, like the cojones on the Washington Post. Not just one, not two, not four whites and men. The deadly combo. Next, you're going to tell me they're straight. They're totally men. They're like not confused in their manhood. I mean, it's a very bold move for the Washington Post, which has been completely woke and annoying for several years now. But they're hemorrhaging audience. They have far few subscribers than they had even a couple of years ago. They're going down by millions, hundreds of thousands just in the past couple of years. And they've had hundreds of people laid off. So all of these woke warriors who want to write for these big salaries and feel so good about themselves that they're the Washington Post. This is the paper that broke Watergate back in the 1970s. Woodward and Bernstein, shadow of its former self. They're all going to be fired. Everyone's getting laid off unless they hire somebody who knows how to make money and do journalism. So where do they go? Back to old reliable, the white guys, and in one case, the white guy from the Wall Street Journal. Oh, a horror, a conservative publication. So they freaked out on the new, I wrote it down, the new publisher, Will Lewis, and his interim executive editor, who replaced a woman, which is not allowed. They went on and on saying, did you consider Black people? Did you consider women? What kind of process was there? And this guy, Will Lewis, the publisher, says to them, look, we are losing large amounts of money. Your audience has been halved in recent years. People are not reading your stuff. I can't sugarcoat it anymore. So I've had to take decisive, urgent action to set us on a different path, sourcing talent that I've worked with that are the best of the best. It's amazing. Even though they're white, merit rose to the top in this one little instance. Right on.
See you, Megyn.
Thanks for having me. See you next week.